All right.
All right, guys, we're going to move on and talk some Myles Garrett breaking the sack record. But before we do, the holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on, and you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction. Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories. Because Aura isn't just your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it, so when they plug it in, the memories are already there. There's no apps to figure out. There's no setup headaches. It's just instant smiles. It's a holiday gift that actually gets used and not forgotten in a drawer. And for a limited time right now, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames rated #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code LOCKEDON. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
Guys, we had Leroy Horde on earlier, and I asked him the question, do you think Myles Garrett can break the record, the sack record, not only the season, but this week? You're playing the worst team in football. They have the worst offensive line. They've allowed the most sacks. Myles Garrett has 19 sacks already. He's had 3 or more sacks, 3 times? Or twice?
He had a 3-sack game, a 4-sack game, and a 5-sack game.
Right, that's true.
In his last
3 or more sacks. Now you need 4, but in the last 6 weeks, he's had 3 games where he's had 3 or more sacks.
And he's breaking this record.
This week?
I don't know about this week, but he's breaking the record.
He's breaking it.
Unless he can't play.
Right. Now you wonder the injury to
Collins.
To Malik Collins, how much, because Leroy's right. The fact that the guys around him have played so well have made him even better. And Malik Collins has been the best
This
guy.
is the week where he's got to get at least 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Take advantage of a game against a rookie quarterback. They don't have a great offensive line.
Right, it's by far the worst offensive team you're playing.
Yes.
If you look at the offensive line numbers for Tennessee, they've given up 48 sacks in 12 games, which is an average of 4 sacks per game, by the way, which ironically is exactly how many Myles Garrett needs. Each person on their starting offensive line has allowed multiple sacks this season. Their 2 tackles have allowed. Dan Moore's allowed 8 sacks. Their right tackle's allowed 7 sacks.
I can't believe they paid that guy. He's so bad. And Myles Garrett has killed him in the past. When he was on the Steelers.
Yep. Do you remember the PFF grades when we used to do that?
Yeah, he had like a 9.
He had like one of the it was a 3. He had a 3 PFF grade in pass block against Myles Garrett. And to add even more, I'm going to give away one of my 5 stats of the week. Yeah, you can see J.C. Latham, who's their 2nd-round pick, also on the right.
I didn't even know Zeitler was on that.
Has been bad, yeah. Each of them on their offensive linemen, it's been bad.
Yeah.
Cam Ward has a 26.2 pressure to sack rate. So 1 out of every 4 times that Cam Ward is pressured, he ends up taking a sack.
Yeah.
That's tied with Geno Smith for the highest pressure to sack rate in the entire NFL.
And he sacked Geno 3 times.
3 times against Geno. Geno's offensive line, which isn't good, is significantly better than Tennessee's.
You said that so weird.
Significantly better. Every syllable there was enunciated. I don't know why I did that.
Like Stephen A. Smith a little bit right there.
Dramatic pause here.
Breath smell it like Similac.
It's going to be a disaster for Cam Ward. It's going to be an utter disaster for Cam Ward.
As bad as the Raiders are, and they're terrible, like the Raiders got better talent everywhere on offense.
Better running back, better receivers, better tight ends.
I don't even know. Who is the Titans' leading receiver? It's their tight end, right?
Chigog Kawankru, or however
he probably has less yards than no,
not him.
How many yards does he have, Anthony?
We built the stat
up the stats right now.
And we had a stat graphic for him.
Does he have as many yards as Harold Fannin?
406? No, he does not.
So the leading receiver is a tight end it's not a rookie or anything. He's been in the league a few years with 406 yards. Is their leading rusher Tony Pollard?
It is.
With what, like 350 yards?
Something like that. And Tajay Spears just came back.
Yeah.
He hasn't been great. He's actually been better in the receiving game than he's been.
They are hot. It's hard to be worse than the Browns on offense. The Titans clearly are.
They did have Calvin Ridley. He's out for the season.
Right. But he hasn't been good the last couple of years anyway.
They let Tyler Lockett go. Those are the 2 veteran receivers they had. Right. They're both out of here. They're hideous. It's an utter cluster, you know what.
And here's the thing. This is the game. Some people say, well, the Browns stink, so it does, Myles Garrett, and there's not a lot of pressure or whatever. I think that's bogus. But the Browns being bad is actually a disadvantage to Myles Garrett because other pass rushers, if you're on a good team, right, if you're right all the good pass rushers are on bad teams I can think of. Who's a good pass rusher on a good team?
Nick Bonito, Denver.
Okay, Nick Bonito on Denver. Well, Nick Bonito on Denver, there's going to be a lot of games where his team is winning because they're good. So the other team's got to throw the ball. How often are the Browns in that situation where the other team has to throw the ball?
Well,
not very often.
When they beat Green Bay this year, they weren't winning till the final whistle.
Right, the
so that was
Miami
never.
game.
They were up in Miami.
And last week.
And
that was
Vegas.
about it.
Yeah.
Not last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's about it. Now, this is the last game where they're likely to be, or it's the game they're most likely to be up, maybe even significantly up. So the second half of this game, hopefully Tennessee's down 10, 13, 14 points, and they got to throw a lot, and that allows Myles Garrett to tee off because I'd be stunned if he didn't get at least 2 sacks in this game. Stunned.
I agree.
And I think he could get, if you had to bet, Myles Garrett gets 4 sacks in this game or 0.
4.
Would you bet 4?
100%.
I would go.
Have you ever thought of
How high
that in your life?
How high could I put that number where you would take the number over 0? If I said 6,
I'd probably go 0 over 6.
5.
No, I think I'd take 4 is the sweet spot.
4 is probably the
Think
number.
4 is the sweet spot?
5 is just like 6. How many guys have had 6 sacks in a game? It's almost never
It's
happened.
happened a couple times.
Derek Thomas had 7 once.
5's only happened 20 times. He did it against Drake May.
Right. Even 5 is,
I think 4 and 0 is that'd get people
Yeah.
to take both sides. 50-50.
yes. Absolutely. Because if you did 1, then you'd go with the 1.
Yeah. I mean, 3 would be overwhelming to people to say
Oh, yeah,
3
100%.
over 0. Yeah.
But if the Titans are just so bad that this is it, like he's going to, you got to figure he's going to have at least 2 minimum. And that puts
the
him at
Browns
21.
need to lose this game, man.
They need to lose? Yeah. You don't care about culture building?
I mean, I would like them to play well and lose the game.
Why? So they can get a better draft
Yes,
pick?
yes.
But either way, they're going to have to trade. Like, they're not going to end up, well, I guess if they lost to the
If they
Titans.
lose this game,
the
it's on
Titans
the
have
table.
what?
They're
1-1. Titans have the
1-1.
number 1 overall pick right
Yeah,
now.
but the
with
Browns
1-1.
have 4 wins.
They have 3.
Oh, 3 wins. Yeah, not 4.
So if they lose this game,
Yeah, they could go 3
Puts the
14.
Titans put the Titans to 2-11.
Right. The Titans going to win another game?
I don't know. I hope so.
who knows?
Who are they playing?
They have probably division teams coming up. I know they still have to play Jacksonville again. No, they play Jacksonville twice. They still have to play Indy at least one more time.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I guess you never know. I mean,
it puts you. If the Browns win,
Saints, they can win that game.
that's a possibility.
They play. So they finish up Niners, Chiefs, Saints, Jags.
Yeah, the Saints is the only other game they would have a shot to
Well,
win.
that could put them to 3.
Right, but how the tiebreaker goes based on strength of schedule. Whoever's got an easier strength of schedule.
point is,
get the higher pick,
if the
yeah.
Browns win, they're basically out of the running for the first overall
Right.
pick.
They're
Based
probably
on-
not going to get the first overall
I'm
pick
saying
anyway,
if they
but,
win,
yeah.
then we could put
Well,
that.
the Giants. So
to
what
bed.
do we got? We got the Giants with 2 wins.
2 wins.
The Jets have 2.
Jets have 3 now. Jets have won 3 of the last 5.
I still can't believe the Bengals lost that game to them. So Jets have 3 wins.
Browns
How many
have
wins do the Saints have? 3.
2.
Where are the Browns right now? 5.
5.
So who else is ahead of them in the
It
draft
was
order?
the Raiders,
The Raiders, the Giants,
the Saints.
the Saints, even though they're tied. All right.
Just based off, and I'm going off what Brugler did in his mock.
Yeah.
But it would have been Tennessee, the Giants,
Right.
New Orleans,
Didn't Tennessee
Vegas.
and the Giants go 1-2 last year?
1-3. The
1-3.
Browns had the second pick last year.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's right. They traded Jack. So who did the Giants didn't take Dart with the 3rd pick?
Abdul Carter, who's been a bust.
Oh God.
It's kind of funny. It just goes to show you how unpredictable the draft is.
Yeah.
The 2 blue chip can't miss, undeniable generational
Yeah.
prospects in the draft last year were Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter.
Well, Hunter got hurt. That's not fair. He wasn't
But
doing.
he
great
wasn't
before.
doing much,
But he had
and-
been He had his best game right before he got hurt.
And I'm not saying he's not going to be good, and I don't think Abdul Carter doesn't have a chance to be good. I still am
Yeah.
very high on both those guys down the road, but Mason Graham's been better than both those 2. Carson Schlesinger's been better than both those 2. Quinshon Judkins been better than both those. I'm just naming Browns guys
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
you
There's
can
a
name
lot
a
of
million
rookies.
guys that are
Jackson
better,
Dart
yeah.
has been better than anyone's taken. So
Yeah.
it goes to show you the draft, even the guys that are quote-unquote surefire can't miss guys.
That's why you can't judge drafts based on mock drafts, and that's what
I know.
everybody does. People that say they don't do that are 100% doing that, and that's why the whole process is just so stupid.